Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. It's the Fruit Nut News on of course, Tuesday. How we doing, guys? We're all okay. Beautiful. So, hope we're all okay. It is, of course, Tuesday evening on the 3rd of the 3rd. And I do urge you to go and have a look at the moon. The moon is absolutely massive. Now, remember, tonight, of course, is a blood moon. Or should we say earlier this morning, it was a blood moon. So, but yeah, go and have a look at it. It's actually, it's quite, it's quite interesting, actually. It is quite interesting. So, yeah, go and have a look at it. Brilliant. So, let's have a look at who have we got in tonight. Let's have a look here. Dave Hunter's first in. We've got Annette Lynn, Graham's in, Christine Owens in, John Brink is in, Starry Knight's in, Aisha Brady's in, Sharon Young's in, Denise is in, Anne Taylor's in, Rose Stewart's in, Angela Davis, Lisa McCulloch, Sheila Douglas, Zena, DW's in, Debbie's in, Strong Willed Angel's in, Glenn Pearson's in, Lisa Steele is joining us tonight as well, Bill Geel, Kath Myers, Ava's in, Kelly Toro's in, Sue Allen, Island's in, the Olive Island, Vanessa, Yvonne, Charlie Lamborghini, Diane Williamson's in, we've also got Ann Taylor, Steve Osborne, Kira's joining us tonight as well. Oh, Kenalbo Colin, Jason's in, she's in, Looney Lena in, and of course Anne. Well, what a very interesting day. What a very interesting day up on the beautiful day up in the northeast of England today. I'm not being funny. Absolutely, mwah. It was absolutely lovely. I've actually got sunburn, but you can't actually see it. And I've had a radical haircut, as you can see. So there you go. I thought I'd show you that one. Said to the bloke, "Do me proud." He did me really proud. So, bit of vino tonight. So we've got a thumbs up from Jason Shire. How you doing, mate? Hope you're okay. Blood Moon. I shall. Let me just have a look at this one. Let me just have a look. Let's have a look here. This is quite interesting. We recently had FLOTUS, which is Melania. So recently Melania was, of course, at the United Nations conference. I was talking to Leslie earlier today, and we're having a bit of a conflab, and Leslie said something very interesting, and I'd never really thought about it. Leslie said, I wonder if, because we were talking about, Melania wasn't qualified to do this, seems a bit weird, etc. Anyway, very interestingly enough, Leslie said, I wonder if, this is quite interesting, I wonder if Melania has been put in there to sort of highlight the fact that the UN is an unelected body and you don't need to be really qualified to be in there. Does that make any sense? Now, we know that the Board of Peace, which has been set up by Donald Trump, is basically, which also leads to some very questionable appointments. Jared Kushner's one of them. I'm not sure about that geezer, but I'm trying to keep my eye on the ball. Anyway, so could it be possible that Melania is highlighting the fact that the UN people, the United Nations people, are not really qualified to do their job, and they're just kind of like, residual puppets in the matrix, so to speak. So that was quite an interesting one. Then, of course, as well, we've got, it says, major alert, Donald Trump will be taking a break in the presidency, and Melania will be taking over as the president has become severely ill and is extremely infectious at this current time. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, very interesting. And of course, as you well know, the European people, the European UN, United Nations, they're just bureaucrats. We could probably run the country better than they can. Okay, so that's really interesting. Now, what was it? 76,000. Now, of course, we've got a lot of people in Saudi. Apparently, current estimates 76,000. Now, there is a lot of unusual people out there, so get ready for 76,000 tits, lips, Botox, and butt implants to land on the shores of the UK very shortly. Now, remember, of course, also that the World War III scenario is basically, basically bringing back the British people to their countries. And in fact, the immigrants are going to go back to their country as well. This is all part of the Jisara Nasara plan. But it's very interesting news about Donald Trump. We have been sort of saying, and what I'm just thinking now out loud here, out loud, Zaka. The Simpsons predicted that Donald Trump would pass away on March the 14th. Okay, so that's another interesting one. The King. Now, remember that Donald Trump is a character. I spoke to Leslie about this morning. Remember that Donald Trump is the character in a movie, okay? In a movie that is changing your perspectives, so to speak, okay? So the World War III scenario, we've got mixed reports on this. We've got reports saying that nothing's happening in these countries. And then we've got people reporting that Dubai airport was closed, etc., etc. Now, a bloke at the gym earlier today said that 3 C-130s had flown out of Dubai back to Britain. So could that be, the returning British people, so to speak? Very interesting. It's getting interesting. Now, remember that Keir Starmer is, of course, central casting. The man's like a fart in the colander. But remember that Keir Starmer, most of Westminster now is really calling, calling for Starmer to resign. And also as well, what Starmer is doing in the UK, he's of course supporting the Muslim vote by allowing all the immigrants to come in. And so basically we saw this at Denton and the Manchester by-election, where men were directing their wives to vote a certain way. Now, of course, in the UK, that's illegal. You're not allowed to do that. But of course, Starmer wants to protect the Muslim vote, just like Biden. So, the UK is a similar situation to what went off in the 2020 election, and all of the immigrants coming in, open borders, etc. We've got exactly the same in our country. So that's not the real story, though. That's not the real story. Now, we've heard that Zelensky has pocketed another 3 million in backhanders from EU donations. Now, remember that the UK have basically offered 500 billion to Zelensky. So that's actually quite an interesting one. Please bear in mind as well that 70% of your council tax goes to the government. So don't expect anything likely to happen in your local area, because it fucking won't. What else have we got? Oh, this is quite an interesting one. Now, did you know that MPs all across the board have had a substantial rise in pay because they are getting abuse from their constituents? That's an interesting one, isn't it? Now, we spoke about the EU earlier, the United Nations, and of course the EU. Now, the EU is another body of people that has never been elected properly. And did you know that the EU have never ever submitted any financial records in the whole history of the actual organisation? So from 1976, where it was, because it was used to be called the Common Market, then it basically changed into the EU. Now, a little story on this. I know for a fact that there was an audit done. It was around about, I would say, 10 years ago, and maybe a little bit longer. It was done by my previous partner. Had a father, and one of his mates were a financial company. They were approached to do some, to some work. And anyway, they assigned somebody to the task. The lady in question was basically given the task of auditing the books, which she went about and did. And after about 3 days, she reported into her boss and said, and of course, said, it's a little bit worrying. And he said, well, why is that? She said, I've only been working on it for a couple of days. She said, I've already found £250 million missing. Anyway, with that, at the end of the week, obviously more money was found. These figures were reported to whoever it was. And on the Monday morning, after the weekend, they all went home for the weekend. On the Monday morning, they were all basically pulled into the office. There was a couple of men in there in black suits and dark glasses, a bit like Men in Black, and they were warned that the audit was shut down, and they were warned that if they uttered a word to anybody, their families would be killed. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So that's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. That is exactly how it works. Right time, right place. Now, Iran, Barack Obama. Now, Barack Obama apparently has appointed 9 criminal barristers. Now, why would Barack Obama, right? Why would Barack Obama get hold of criminal barristers, criminal lawyers? Well, because he's been charged with criminal activity, not a lawsuit, not like defamation of character. No, criminal. Okay. And there was lots of videos on my wall on the scrolls of Bill and Hillary Clinton. Now, if you go and watch those videos, okay, you can actually tell that these two characters are fucking lying through their back teeth. Absolutely lying through their back teeth. I still think, okay, I still think that they think that they're going to get away with this. I still think that they do. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. They're going to get slam dunked at some stage. So very, very interesting. Now, this is quite interesting. HMS Dragon has been deployed to Cyprus. That's very interesting, isn't it? And yet earlier today we've had a few videos on where people are saying that Cyprus is not under any kind of attack. But of course, as you well know, Cyprus has a large mafia contingent. Just like, of course, Puerto Banús on the coast of Spain. Very, very, very heavily, subscribed by gangsters and drug dealers. In fact, Puerto Banús was the very place where Charlie Ward was actually based, along with a few others of his gang. A girl called, what was that girl's name now? Oh, yes, Lucy Davis. Yeah, she comes to mind there. And remember, just down the road, there's a small resort just down the road from Puerto Banús, and I can't bloody remember the name of it now. There was a few people thrown off a balcony in that area as well. Very, very interesting. So we'll wait and see. Now, apparently, HMS Dragon is a Type 45 battleship, which is quite an interesting little scenario. So yeah. Now, Trump also tweeted out as well. I don't know whether this is tonight. He said, watch Hannity tonight. Now, apparently, Benjamin Netanyahu is being interviewed on the Hannity program. So that should be quite interesting. So if you do get chance to watch Hannity, I suggest you do. There might be some comms. Now, at the moment, Netanyahu thinks he's all cushy, and he thinks he's got everything in the bag. But I actually think he's being too overly competent. He's being too overly optimistic, and he hasn't really understood the 5D chess game yet. So that's going to be quite interesting. Now, Nettie says that Israel is the new American model ally. Well, Nettie, if I was you, mate, I would be just a little bit cautious about getting a kippah slapped around your face. Just my thoughts on that. And Netanyahu is apparently currently telling everybody that they are the good guys. Israel are the good guys. Now, this, of course, is a man that has basically shot and killed thousands and thousands of men, women, and children in, of course, Palestine in the name of religion. Okay? So, yeah, I mean, I don't know any religion that, warrants killing anyone. Well, I can think of a few. But, that doesn't sound like a loving God. And as we discussed the other night, if you are expecting to get 12 virgins when you get to heaven, well, to be honest, there isn't any virgins left. They've all been taken. If that is your goal, then you're going to be sadly disappointed when you get there. Now, going back to Trump Towers, Trump Tower. This is quite an interesting one. Now, apparently, the bomb squad have had to turn up today at Trump Tower. Apparently, an Israeli package was delivered to Trump Tower. Unfortunately, the Israelis can't be very clever because, of course, Donald Trump is not at Trump Tower. He's at Mar-a-Lago. Anyway, maybe that's just a little mistake on the Israeli front. Okay, so very interesting. My suggestion: keep your eye on the ball. Don't fully immerse yourself into all of the news cycles going on. Have a bit of discernment. Step yourself back. Because a lot of stuff is a lot of stuff's happening, and there's a lot of 5D chess going on here. You can kind of feel it, people doing this, that, and the other. So that's an interesting one, that Donald Trump will be taking a break in the presidency, and Melania is going to step in. Now, that's quite an interesting move. Now, Donald Trump has recently been seen with an infectious rash on his neck, etc., etc. But who knows? It could all be just fake news. Nobody knows. Do you know what? I'll be glad when the day comes. I really, really will. I'll be glad when the day comes when you can watch the news, right? And you can genuinely say that's a true story. Without any of this bullshit going on, without any of this, rhetoric building and all that stuff, I will be, when that day comes, I'll tell you what, when that day comes, I will eat one of these pegs live on camera. So, anyway, listen, get yourself outside, enjoy the blood moon. Oh, look at that. 66 people. Just as I said that. Now, remember, of course, that 66 is not a bad number in itself. It's just the people that are using it that are a bit, should we say, la. Anyway, listen, take care, have a great evening, enjoy yourselves. I will catch up with you all again tomorrow, Wednesday. Now, of course, we've got Prime Minister's question times tomorrow. That should be quite interesting. Yeah, very interesting. I'll just tell you this now. I'll reiterate it tomorrow. But Donald Trump's also been talking about sending in a big wave, okay, to Iran. Very interesting. Could this be checkmate? The big wave? The trump card, maybe? Anyway, we'll find out tomorrow. We'll find out in the next few days. Don't worry about that. Anyway, listen, take care. Have a great evening. Love you, ladies. We will see you all again soon. And don't forget, maybe very shortly, this face will be on mainstream media. Yeah, and you'll all be going, oh, yeah, I remember him when he first started out 4 or 5 years ago.